Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1504. 1504. I feel like we've just spoken just moments ago, but it was the Super Secret Sunday show. And now here I am at 5:39 in the morning. And the guy that's usually here with me is gone. They let him go. They fired him. And so now it's just you and me.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And I left my house so much earlier than I usually do, and the traffic was actually a little bit lighter. So
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Because people can't drive here in the Bay Area. And that's really sad. The problems we have with people walking, driving, breathing, watching their smartphones and not looking up and seeing what's around them, because that's where
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Life is happening. Life is happening around you, not in that phone. Your life's not in that phone.
Mike's
It's around you.
Daily
Look up.
Podcast.
Look around.
Yeah!
That's all I had to say about that. Did you listen to the last show? My last show, I ranted like crazy about Planet Money and about shows like that, This American Life, and shows where you take a very simple story, A to B, and instead of going from A to B, they take you to all this way in that direction, and instead of just going straight to B. But Mike, I like to be entertained. Yeah, that's fun. Look who walked in. Hello, Michael Mouse, it's Madame Rootabega, und wir sind Knights that say ni.
We are the knights who say ni.
Oh, that's cool. But knights that say knee, why aren't they saying ankle? Look who else walked in.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Why?
Why did that guy say that?
He doesn't understand you guys, and that's part of the problem. Is when you're ununderstandable, people can't. So I missed Katie Garibaldi's show on Saturday night, and I feel bad. But when I worked out the logistics, and I wasn't about to drive into San Francisco with all the issues happening with that horrible accident at the Bay Bridge. And,
And here's today's podcast picture.
this is a picture from the peninsula side of the bay, and there's a boat that looks all Christmassy. And I forget the name of this boat. I haven't seen it in quite a while. But I actually took this picture almost 10 years ago. And that's a Christmassy boat. See that Christmassy boat at mikesdailypodcast.com. Oh, you won't regret looking out that Christmassy boat. You must look at it. Don't you know? Trump now is endorsing Roy Moore. He says we need a win in Alabama. He is that. Okay. Going back to the whole Michael Flynn thing that happened. Okay, so Michael Flynn, the law he broke was lying to the FBI. That's what they got him on. You lied to us, you're in trouble. Okay, so regardless of whatever you believe about the media blowing up the collusion thing and saying to me, oh, Trump, you know what? He just wants a good relationship with Russia.
I say it's better to get along with Russia than not.
Well, how come they covered up so much stuff? How come, Michael Flynn, how come if this really isn't that big of a deal and all it is Michael Flynn is a big fat liar, and that was an Al Franken book, the Russia Fair and Unbalanced, Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh? I never noticed that before. How interesting.
That's not how it works.
But, so, Michael Flynn.
That's not how any of this works.
The question that the New York Times that I was listening to, their podcast this morning, was asking was how come they didn't just come out and say that, okay, Michael Flynn just did this one thing with Netanyahu from Israel and talk to him, and that's not really breaking a law. It does kind of impinge on the Logan Act, but why did they just hide it all? What because when you're hiding things, it looks like you're hiding even more things. Trump's McDonald's binges and screaming fits revealed in a new book. Oh, no, I won't read that. But Trump today offered his most explicit endorsement to date of Roy Moore, the pedophile. And from now on, we shouldn't call him Senator Roy Moore. We should call him pedophile Roy Moore, just so that everyone knows who didn't, or just who are denying it. And yeah, I know you want to say rapist Bill Clinton, but hey, semantics. The embattled Republican Senate candidate in Alabama, Roy Moore, is how this is written at any rate in the Washington Post, who stands accused of making unwanted sexual advances on teenagers when he was in his 30s. He said, Trump, we need Republican Roy Moore to win in Alabama. He tweeted, Democrats' refusal to give even one vote for massive tax cuts is why we need Republican Roy Moore to win in Alabama. We need his vote on stopping crime, illegal immigration, border wall, military, pro-life, VA, judges, Second Amendment, and more. No to Jones, a Pelosi Schumer puppet. No, you're the puppet. Trump has delivered similar messages in recent days, attacking Democratic nominee Doug Jones as a liberal beholden to Pelosi and Schumer. But in his past comments, Trump has stopped short of naming Moore and equivocally endorsing him in a special election coming up December 12th. That's a week from tomorrow. He's going to win. Roy Moore's going to win. I hate to say it, but the U.S. and South Korea are starting their Air Force drills. Oh, thank you, New York Times, in your stupid videos where you people, because it's auto rolling and people aren't listening, they have the sound off, so you have to put this big font saying, as the U.S. and South Korea launched their largest ever combined Air Force exercises. They put this in the most obnoxious font possible. Oh, I hate that. And you know what? I dislike jump cuts. I'm really not embracing YouTube, folks. I want to, and some things on it I will watch and I will endorse and I will tell you about. But geez, there's some practices that I'm not liking what I'm seeing on Facebook. The United States and South Korea began large-scale combined Air Force drills Monday, with plans to carry out simulated strikes on North Korean nuclear and missile testing sites. Some 230 aircraft will take part in the drills, which include some of the Pentagon's most powerful air warplanes. They come just a week after North Korea tested a missile that analysts said had the capability of reaching the continental U.S. The drills were part of an annual exercise that has been planned before North Korea conducted the missile test. And then North Korea's guy said something like, this will cause the nuclear war. And Lindsey Graham of South Carolina urged the Pentagon on Sunday to move dependents of American service members out of South Korea because of the threat of conflict. More than 28,000 United States troops are stationed there, many living with their family. Somebody I knew used to be stationed in South Korea and said country artist Chely Wright came to visit and sing for the troops. And this was over 10 years ago. And my friend went up to Chely and said, hey, do you know who Matt Michaels is? And she goes, yeah. He dropped a camper shell door on my head once. Chely Wright totally remembered that. And that was true. I took Chely Wright, the country singer, who came out of the closet. Did they still use that expression? At any rate, hey, we walked down to the beach because she was in Ventura with her female friend. I don't know if they were seeing each other, but she wanted to see the beach. So I took her down to the beach and walked her around. And in the process, though, to drive her down there, I had to put her in my... I had this weird truck, this Toyota truck that had a camper shell on it. And there was some stuff in the passenger seat. And I'm like, I just got to move this in the back. And she was so nice and helpful, and she picked up like my jacket and helped me move it into the well, the camper shell thing fell on her head. That is a weird story. And whenever I tell it, I just do not know why I tell it. And thank you so much for listening to it. But that is something apparently Chely Wright still remembers. Such is my life. Well, another delicate challenge for the GOP, reconciling House and Senate tax bills. Oh yeah, that's going on today. So Trump wants to get that legislation done. His first crowning achievement legislation passed. And then women line up to run for office, aiming a primal scream at Trump, says the New York Times. Well, and then Billy Bush, speaking of Trump and that sort of story, he said Donald Trump, actually, that's his voice that you're hearing on that tape. Not that there was any doubt about that, but as we go outside a Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. I just feel that when you are on a bus, you shouldn't talk about things like that. Or in a locker room. That's no excuse. And I feel that... Oh, who will be the Times 2017 Person of the Year? You may know by the time you listen to this. They think could be Jeff Bezos from Amazon, because his net worth topped $100 billion last month, becoming the richest man in the world. There's Donald Trump, who thinks he will probably be it. The Me Too movement might possibly also. Kim Jong-un? Really? Oh, that would be... Colin Kaepernick? Ooh, that would also upset Trump. Xi Jinping, China's ruling Communist Party president. The Dreamers, Robert Mueller, Mohammed bin Salman, the Saudi King Salman, elevated by his father. Robert Mueller, Patty Jenkins. Oh yeah, Patty Jenkins for Wonder Woman. That might, because she was the director of that. First female director of an American studio superhero movie. Who knows? And that's pretty much this show today. Hope it's a good week for you. I did talk to someone. I was talking to someone in the biz, in the podcast world, that was telling me that the whole thing that NPR is always pushing their podcasts. I don't know if you've noticed that. When I listen to Will Shortz and the crossword puzzle part that they do thing on in the morning on, I think, Sundays, they'll have on a contestant along with the regular civilian contestant who won the earlier quiz from the previous week. They'll have someone, I think they had a guy from San Francisco on this past week who listens to KQED. And there's this, by the way, Steve Fox. I know a guy named Steve Fox who works at KQED, and he also has an awesome internet station called Steve Fox's Old School, where he plays like old soul, funk, R&B. It's awesome, and there's no commercials. And find it, I think, through Shoutcast, or just do a Google search. You should find it, Steve Fox Old School. But so Will Shortz will have on a guy or gal, guys or gals, from a podcast show that NPR is trying to push. Apparently, NPR dumps a lot of money into podcast development. So that's like where Serial came from. That turned out to be a big success. But for every Serial, there's so many other shows that turn out to wilt in the milk. But they are constantly pushing their podcasts. So that's what's going on at NPR. If you have a podcast and you want to be popular, pitch it to NPR. But there's so many bad podcasts on NPR. Ugh. So my point being, thank you for listening to this podcast. If you'd like to help out the show, mikesdailypodcast.com. There's a link to PayPal. You can help us out that way. I heard the guy that used to be on MTV years ago with the funky hair, he's got a podcast where if people help him out through Patreon, he names them as the producer of a particular show. His show is apparently very conspiratorial. So, do I want to start doing that? No. But next show, it's going to be Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the Engineer. Have a wonderful day.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!